Okay, well, here we go. We're on a roll right now. This is your major sales tool as an independent designer. This, children, is called a lookbook. This is how you share to other folks, buyers they're called, at stores, what your product is, what you have to sell. And this is what each of our designers in Fashion Forward came up with as they were developing their line. I know a lot of you have watched Project Runway, yeah?
Yeah.
So you think the fashion show where Heidi and Michael Kors or Zach Posner are looking at the garments coming out of the runway. That's it, we're done.
Christian
That's true.
Siriano graduated from my high school.
Well, that's nice to know. Yeah. So he knows what the real world is, that the real world is that is just the start. And there are many steps to get there. How many of you, Rose, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a nurse. I'm just kidding. I don't
Yeah, well, you're in the wrong place.
I know.
Providence is Yeah, so what do you want to be? Do you want to be an independent designer? What do you
Business.
in business? The business of a firm? That's good. What do you want to be here?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Still sorting it through? Yeah, what do you want to be?
I'd like to do costume making, but I don't know. Sometimes I think it'd be fun to make my own thing. It's kind of cool.
JJ, what do you want to do? Are you in Rose?
If I can. Independent.
Independent design? Yeah.
Streetwear designer or just design my own line.
How about you?
Yeah, be known for my brand, streetwear design.
Still figuring out your brand though? Streetwear design, whatever
of
that is.
course.
Ghetto fabulous. What do you want to be, Logan?
Probably a designer or start my own clothing line.
Me?
I definitely want to be the person that makes a store like H&M so I can have many of them all over.
You want to be the owner of H&M?
No, the owner of my own company like H&M.
Like an H&M?
Yes.
H&M type
So it can be in the mall,
okay.
in several malls.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
fast fashion is a whole nother thing,
Mhm.
a whole nother story. They have more lawyers than they have designers. But that's a whole nother story. So.
Oh, that won't happen until I'm like 40, maybe 50.
No, it can happen when you're 20, but it would be a whole new set of rules, business
Mainly,
law
I'm
and
trying
everything.
to get manufacturers, connections with manufacturers, because once you're able to put down enough money and you can mass produce your stuff, you can get things started.
You on the parking lot there, I'm gonna talk about fast fashion and the H&M world. Okay, I know you can't all see this, but this is what an independent designer's life is like. And in a small way, in a microcosm is what life is like for an Adidas, Columbia Sportswear, Nike, that thing. So, my children, the first thing you must do is your research. That's fun. Research. There are whole oceans of people doing the research. Research involves everything from trend research, and that of course started 2 years ago when you're out there looking at what are the fibers, what are the silhouettes, what are the colors, what are the fabrics that people are going to want to wear. Are scarves going to be in this year? Is it going to be black and white? It always is black and white. But is it going to be black and white, or is it going to be rose quartz and serenity, which are the colors of the year, by the way? The serenity is a kind of a pink, it's a blush.
Is it? Okay.
Blush. Rose quartz is kind of a pale.
Okay.
So there you go. So what are the colors? So it's not just the research on the trends of what people don't know they want, but they're gonna want as soon as you show it to them 2 years from now. But it's also research on your customers. I do this religiously. Who are my customers? What do they want? Why do they come to us? Who else do they go to? What do they expect to see there? What are their expectations? What are the tools they want to have Who are the people they want to have around? Who are their heroes? Who are their influencers? Constantly doing your research on your customers and what they want to buy. The people who are champions of this are like the Boyles. I mean, that fishing vest was supremely amazing. The gals at Wild Fame. Who would have known people wanted to buy a t-shirt that said Tomboy on it? But millions do. So doing your research, finding that customer and what they're going to want to wear is your constant challenge, figuring this out. Once you have your research done, and it's never really done, and let's say it's trend and customer. And trends, by the way, could be national, international, and local. You have to think about those. Then you're also going to be thinking about your sourcing. So sourcing is where you're thinking, I'm going to do knits, but what kind of knits? What's out there? What's available to you? Are you talking about jersey knits? Or are you talking about ponte knits? Are you talking about cotton? Or are you going to talk about rayon? Or are you going to talk about polyester? So you're going to be doing your sourcing to find out what fabrics are out there and what's available to you. You're also thinking about your trims. Am I going to do Velcro? Am I going to do buttons? Am I going to do snaps? Am I going to do ties to pull things together? Am I going to add elastic to the waist? What, all these different things, all these different components you may conceive of for that garment you have in mind. And then from all these things, they're inspiring you, you're reading the fabric, and you're creating your concepts and development. Who's done a mood board? Anybody done a mood board yet? Yeah, Logan, what class was that for?
Myself.
You just did it for yourself?
We're gonna do one in a couple weeks too.
Excellent, okay. So you're trying to pull together all this research and what you think you have to contribute. I mean, one of the big things in your research is, what in the heck does my customer need? What do they want to buy? Because if there's nobody out there to buy your stuff, why are you making it? You know, if you want to volunteer your time and effort, go to Providence. They need nurses' aides over there. So, or go to the zoo and scrub an elephant, you know? But don't volunteer time in apparel. Your concept development is trying to figure out, pull all this stuff together, what does my customer need, and here's what I think their mood is. That color palette, those fabrics that they're gonna wanna wear. Once you've done that, then you can start, at this point, designing. I need to have.
You need to take,
Do
you need an assistant?
little thing. No, I'm gonna be fine. I think this adds to the interest on Amy's video. So now we're gonna design. This is where you're sketching. Of course, you've been sketching all along, haven't you? You keep a sketchbook, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're sketching all along, but finally you're gonna pull out of that maybe your top 24 things that look like they're kind of going together and they're meeting the customer need, and they are an embodiment of who you are. You know, I have 3 lines. Studio SKB is vintage style with a modern touch. It's all knits. That's the modern touch. But I have a lot of pleats and details in there that you might expect from a Rita Hayworth kind of dress. You know, so it's a little bit different that way. It appeals to the Portland customer. But I do a lot of blacks. I always have a black and a gray in there, just in case. So you're designing, you're coming up with your ideas here. And it's typically, I come up with 24. And as I'm drawing them down and I'm working them through, this is our concept classes.
Do you do 2 seasons?
I do 2 seasons because
Okay.
we have 2 seasons in Portland. Rain, and no rain.
Perfect.
So, yeah. Everywhere else, it's at least 4 seasons. If you're John Galliano or Zach Posen, it's 11. You come up, no wonder they do cocaine. So you have to come up with so many collections and ideas a year. It's constantly going. Unfortunately, you live in Portland, so you got 2. Yay! Yeah. Indianapolis would be the same thing. 2 seasons, bugs, no bugs. Okay? So you're coming up with your designs. I'm typically coming up with 24, but I'm trying to make sure that they all look alike, they fit in, and after that winnowing down, and I'm sure you have your merchandisers and your bosses and everybody else, it won't work. It's not Columbia. It's not brand right.
Right.
So then all of a sudden, a 24 knocks down to 12. So you've worked out all these sketches in your concept board and your mood board, and now it's down to 12. These hateful people have cut you down. So you say, fine, I'll go with that 12, and that's when you do your first pattern. First pattern. I love pattern making. It's where the rubber hits the road. And at the first pattern is when I could tell that the style lines that I had in my little fabulous little drawing, my beautiful artwork, suck. They're really not gonna work. I thought they would look great on that drawing, but unfortunately people don't have 3-foot long necks. Or they actually have short torsos. Shoot. Or that style makes the lady's legs look stumpy. So it doesn't work out. My first pattern, and then if it does, the style does come together, then I'm gonna cut it out of some kind of prototype fabric. Now, if you're Adidas or Columbia Sportswear, you can order up 100,000 yards of fabric. So you don't mind, you're cutting out your little first patterns, your protos out of your final fabric. But for you and I, we can't afford that. So we're going over to Millens, Annex, and buying that $3 a yard fabric, or over Fabrics for Less, our friends up here at 73rd and Sandy, yeah. And buying that cheapo fabric and cutting it out, sewing it up. And hopefully by then, since we know our customers so well, we've picked out a fit model, a person that is that size. Typical woman in Portland, Oregon is 5'5", 5'4" is stretch. And she's typically a size 8, although she thinks she's a small. So, yeah, smaller than that. Typical model in Portland is 5'9". They think they're like 5'10", 5'11". And they think they're size 0, but they're size 6. So they like to eat, I just gotta tell you. So you pattern, you choose a fit model who is your customer. If you're doing plus sizes, it's typically a 12, although those ladies are more like a 16. But you're cutting, sewing that first garment, that proto, for whatever your fit model is, that medium person, that middle of the road for your customer.